Stand on me while I'm doing it. Hi. I was just saying, buddy, you can't stand on me while I'm doing a live. Just things fell over today. It's been that kind of day. All righty. Hi. I'm just look at this good boy. Did you love pets? All right. So I'm just gonna give it a second here for some of y'all to get. Look at the tail. Look at the tail. What's with the tail? Did you look at the tail? You're not looking at the tail? All right. Okay. All right. Okay. This is so much fun. All right. I'm just gonna come. All right. Hi, Michelle. Hi. I'm just gonna. And for those of you just tuning in, I always take a few minutes to say hey down the as folks chime in. So if that drives you crazy, okay, it'll drive you crazy. Worst things have happened, right? Okay, let's see what we got. All right. Rudy. Yeah, hi, guys. So, yeah, this is all last minute. Humanimal! Crazy! So good to see some of you. And Gavin's here. Gavin wants to introduce. Do you want to tell everybody about it? Do you? Do you want to tell them? Oh. Okay, so it's official. His mug is done. So there is a really cute Gavin mug. Gavin, look over here. Look to everybody. Okay, thank you. I know. You got to tell people that you've got your mug is ready. Okay. So he's nibbling on his toy. So we did put his mug on the Teespring thing that's here. So hi, sweet boy. What are you doing? You being a bitey boy? All right. So I know it's like the minute the kids and dogs, right? You get the dogs on and everybody's like, so, all right. So let's talk about the craziness that's, can I tell you something? First of all, Humanimal, you said it best, in a low spot. Let me tell you something. Everybody's in a low spot, and I'm going to tell you why. I took some notes about the all the 5 or 6 planets that are in retrograde right now. And when I started studying it, I started realizing that everything is just coming up to heal. Now, when I say it's coming up to heal, that's the painful part. And the thing is that things that have been put aside for many, many years, things that other people couldn't uncover, are finally coming to the surface. So I think that's a really important thing that all of you, all of you need to know. I'm just going to take a peek really quick, and then I have my notes, so I'm going to go look at them. But I want to let you know that every single one of the outer planets. Now, what that means in astrology is you've got your personal planets, and the personal planets are the first 5 planets. So you've got, of the 5 planets, you've got your sun, which is your natal sign, and then there's the moon, Mercury, how you think, Venus, right, what you like, and Mars, how you take action. So those are your 5 personal planets. But then there are the outer, they call it the outer planets, because they're the ones that take longer to transit. So what happens is the personal planets move quicker, which is why, like, Cruz Boston and I can be born on the same day at the same time, and she might be 3 minutes older, right? And so that makes a little bit of a difference, but our charts are very similar. But yet, if you look at somebody who's born, I'm just thinking of it like dramatically, like a year apart, we could still have similar outer planets, because the outer planets, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they move slower. So what that means, and just so everybody's clear on this, we are now in a 12-year Jupiter cycle, and I have finally figured out that and it's so funny because I'm doing readings this weekend. I think some of you know I have a sale going on my readings, and that's because I'm trying to pay off the vet bills from Owen. But I've been doing readings, and I have 2 intuitive astrology readings tomorrow with people. And one of the things that's going on that I think is key in this conversation is that if you look at where you are today and you go back 12 years exactly. Jupiter was last in where it is right now 12 years ago. So let's take a look down memory lane. So if you go inside and you look at where you were 12 years ago, I know somebody said to me today, like, I don't know where I was 12 minutes ago, but if you look at 12 years ago, you can see and get a sense of the way cycles work, right? So what I'm trying to say is Jupiter, when I was looking at what was going on for me 12 years ago, I was having the beginning of some of the issues that I'd been having. Some of you have heard me talk about feeling like, I was talking about my depression. And I'm going to talk today as well. I'm going to give you the planetary stuff, and I'm also going to share with you what my diagnosis was and what really shocked me about it. So, no, that was, sorry, that is Gavin. Gavin is my gray and black whippet. Owen is the ornery white whippet. So, it's like, okay. So Cruise Boston, I really, it's great to see you, and it's great to see everybody tonight. So let's get into, you're in Jupiter, New York. That is funny. There's also Jupiter, Florida. Okay. So I'm going to just look here at my notes and talk about the planets for a minute. Okay. So one of the things you want to really get is that this is a time when we're looking at taking back control of our life. And this is the overarching theme of what's going on. And it's really interesting because I was talking to someone earlier today in a reading, and, she was telling me some things, and forward to me is that she felt her life was getting out of, I want to say a little out of whack, a little out of control. And I said, are you sure it's out of control? And this is very important, everybody. How many of you are feeling like that, feeling like, oh my gosh, everything's out of control? Like, I feel like I have no handle on anything. It's just, everything felt like it was just really, really just like, I don't know what to do next. I don't know what my next step is. I don't know where I'm going. Now, it was interesting because the client I had today, we talked about it, and she was saying that 12 years ago, she had met me in LA, and I didn't remember the conversation, but she said that I had told her she would buy this one condo she's in, and, and she said she's been there for the 12 years. Very interesting, though, that in the 12-year cycle of Jupiter, right, taking back control of your life means something very specific for all of us. So I want to talk about that. The thing about Jupiter is that it's actually a mild retrograde. It's actually a very soft retrograde. So a couple things about this that is going to make sense to you is that it expands what you need to see. So the thing I want to say to you is that she was saying to me, yeah, I want to move, it's kind of, LA's kind of done for me. And I related to that. You had said that. And I said to her, what are you waiting for? She said, well, I have my insurance paid through March. And it was funny because, and I'm not going to go into a great big detail about it, but how many of us think that way, right? How many of us think, oh, I paid it through March, so I'll just stay here. I'm going, what are you sitting there for? She's like, what do you mean? I go, get out. I go, your place will sell in an hour. And she's like, you're right. I said, that's what you want to do. And she said, well, I guess I'm afraid. I said, what if it's not fear? And this is something I want to say to all of you. What if we're really not afraid, whether or not you can see this right now? What if what's happening is with all this retrograde, right? We are looking backwards. What if we're looking back at our fear rather than forward to our adventure? And I think that it's about, really, and she and I were talking about it, and we're both women, we're both over 50, and we were talking about being single now. And I said, yeah, I really am just looking forward to my friends, to being around new friends and things like that. And it's not that I'm not interested in the relationship thing. It's just, this is the way my life has gone. And I'm kind of like, I want to be around communities where I can talk to people my own age and be, with other people. And so many, the world, by the way, everybody, if you haven't already noticed, lonely. People are suffering from a profound loneliness, and the only way they can avoid feeling lonely is to be angry. And it was really interesting because, and I'm going to talk about the planets, but I also want to talk about my diagnosis with you because I think that's super important. Just want to make sure, gosh, you guys are so quiet. Normally it's like on the feed. I'm like, wow, it's like quiet out there. so, so the biggest thing that that I think we have to look at is that when we get to a place in our lives where we feel stagnant or we feel there's nothing else, it's kind of like stepping back and going, what do I really want? And so when I was talking to this client today, I was saying, you know, why do we wait? What are we waiting for the adventure to happen? You know, what is that about? Why don't we just go get it? And she was like, you know, yeah. I said, yeah, sell the frickin' place. Go to, you know, she wants to move to another state. I said, go there. And she was like, yeah. And it was so funny. She was like, you're right. I said, stop looking back at the problem and start looking forward at the adventure. Too much of the time, guys, we've made our lives be a problem. And you know, before my father died, I mean, he'd had this little, you know, in those days, everybody puts notes on index cards. He had an index card up on his board. And when he died, I found it and it reminded me of him. And, you know, when I looked at the board after he died and I was taking things down, it was just, you know, on his old typewriter, and with the O kind of missing, you know, the O, the old typewriter struck too hard. And I remember it said, life is an adventure to be lived, not a problem to be solved. And one of the things that I recognized in myself is that I have been spending these 12 years trying to solve the problem of my life. I want to welcome you, Sheldon, and anybody else who's new, please welcome. Just let us know you're here for the first time. I want to say hi. And, you know, and I want to say, Emily just said, I have trouble dreaming. Don't dream. Just look at what you really want. You don't have to dream. And here's the funny thing when I say that to you. If we look at it this way and we say, okay, what is it that has eluded me my whole life? Well, that's the one thing that may be embarrassing to pursue, or, you know, your brain's trying to protect you. So if I look at it, what's the one thing that's really eluded me my whole life is a sense of belonging and a sense of being in the world. And because I do the work I do because, you know, my wounding is about connecting, right? And so what do I help other people do? Connect to their truth. I mean, that's really my, you know, it's my secret sauce, right? Everybody has their little magic secret sauce, right? And it's really interesting to me that at this time in our lives, I think things are coming up so we can heal them and deal with them. Heal and deal is what I'm calling. Heal and deal. I'm dealing it and I'm healing it. I mean, that's the, you know, that's a good one. I tell you what, that is really where I'm at. Oh, Chris, it's good to see you. I think we're all kind of coming full circle a little bit. And I do want to mention one other thing that I think is very important. Somebody messaged me. It was a private message, and she was talking about the Watts case. And I think that, and I'm only going to say this part about it, which is that I feel like it's been a year. And in this year, I have grown so much, not just through covering the Watts case, because so many of you discovered, you know, this channel and what we as a community are creating, but also, you know, how sad it is in the sense that, you know, my father, when he went back to France for the 50th anniversary of D-Day, and he didn't land the beach. He was a paratrooper, so he made it to the beach 3 weeks later. And he said he was standing on the cliffs and he was looking down at Omaha Beach, and everybody on the beach, you know, that he said the bodies were still 13 feet high. He said they were just, you know, it's 3 weeks later. 3 weeks after the invasion. And he said he was standing on the bluff and just looking for a minute, and thinking. Here it was 50 years later, right? And he said he could still see in his mind's eye the carnage from the beach. And a woman comes up next to him, a French woman, and she said in a very broken English accent, she said, isn't it a pity that so many Americans and allies, she said, she's talking to my dad, so she said, so many of you came so far to die for my freedom. And, in some ways, I think that's how I feel about Shanann and her children, that watching all of the stuff that happened in her life helped me face mine. And so I am going to be talking a little bit more about that. But again, I want to talk about it on my Patreon page, only because, and I'm working on setting that up a little better, because I want to start doing some live feeds over there, just about some of the things that I feel that people will be much more willing to hear about on, in that way, because I may be talking about that case still, how it has affected me in certain ways, but I want to respect the family, and I don't want to really bring it up here. So that's part of what's going on. The other thing is, some of you know that I had been suffering some horrible depression. I put it up on the, what do you call it? I put it on YouTube here, and I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I think it's just been like 2 weeks, guys. I mean, seriously, where I came out and I said, I have depression and this is what it is. And I was so blown away by people's response that it was, it was just really stunning to me. Anyway, I went to my doctor, and she and I have been working on some of the stuff for like 2 years, actually 4 years now. But she said to me, Tori, I think that you might have something that's outside of my, if you will, jurisdiction. She said, would you be open to talking to a psychiatrist, because I think you might have ADD. And I was like, yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Cruz Boston. Just love you. Just love you to pieces. You're just such a great person. And Black Rose 11, thank you too. But thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And she said ADD, and suddenly it was like bells went off in my head. And suddenly, because I didn't really know what this was, right? I've always like had this judgment about it, because for me, the only cure, if you will, is a controlled substance. And it was scary. It was really scary. And but the thing that happened right after that is everything relaxed in me. And I was like, yes. And then I got home, and of course, the psychiatrist couldn't see me for a month. And I said to the assistant, I said, I'm going to see her next week on Tuesday morning, even though I don't like to get up in the morning. I'll get up for this. She was like, she doesn't have an appointment for another month. I said, no, there'll be an opening. She was like, what? I said, put me on the list. I told her my situation, and I said, I need help now, because this is bad. This is really bad. And she said, and I told her what's going on. She said, okay, I'll put you on the waiting list. I can't guarantee. I said, I know, but I'll just get ready for next Tuesday. And she was like, okay. So Monday afternoon, she calls me. She says, Ms. Hartman? I said, yeah. She said, you were right. 9:30 tomorrow morning. It's open. Do you want it? And I went, yeah. So, sometimes being a little intuitive pays off, because I was like, ooh, I'll get in sooner than that. But one of the things that I learned, I sat down with the psychiatrist, and we talked about it. And exactly, Cruz Boston. We talked about it, and I started to recognize, it was like, I've got to tell you guys, it was like your life flashing before you. I started seeing everything that was happening in my life. My struggle to concentrate, my inability to sit still, my jumping topics, all of the things that I thought, that's just me. my inability, like seriously, like the way I am prolific, I should be turning out 2 books a year. What, one every couple of years? It's because I spend hours staring at a page and I can't remember what I wrote. And it got worse. It had gotten very, very bad. And I had a very nice talk with a psychiatrist, and it was more like, it wasn't like the old lay on the couch and get your stuff together. It's, I'm glad you said that, Stephanie, because I'm going to talk about the medication too. And I want to say this about AD&D. So the psychiatrist said to me, okay, because I always joke and I say, okay, what's the cocktail? Because they're going to try to put you on different things that make you act or function in a world that's, that's real. That's like that, that we're in. Yeah, Dawn, you know what, Dawn, you missed everything. No, I'm kidding. Glad you're here, Dawn. But what I was going to say is that when I sat down with her, and she was delightful, and I told her everything, and I didn't try to look good or sugarcoat it. I said, these are the things that are going on with me. And she listened, and she looked at my intake, and she went, mm-hmm. And I said, and she said, okay, here's what I want to put you on. And she switched some things around, and she went, and, I want to put you on Adderall. And I said, that has always scared me because it's a controlled substance. And I get scared because I come from an addictive family. There's a lot of stigma about drugs anyway in our society. And I remember years ago, you guys, and this really scared me. And I know you'll get this when I say this. My mother was an alcoholic. I struggled with drinking for a long time. And finally, one day I couldn't drink anymore. It was just really that bad, because it was like, I realized I was medicating now my ADD, right? So I was a little bit nervous, but I said, yeah, I'll do it. But I want to say this. I think it was like 10 years ago or something when I had, and a couple of years ago, really, when I gave up drinking. And somebody said to me, and this was really scared me, right? Somebody actually had the balls to say, well, so you were drunk while you were writing XYZ, some of my things that have been bestsellers or whatever. And I said, what an ass. Can I just say this, you guys? And I wrote this down because I was so mad. I thought, I got to write this down. Hemingway was a drunk. Hello, there's some great literature there. Some of it's incoherent, but a lot of it, and I want to say that, like, what I went through in my childhood, my mother sent me to sleepaway camp when I was 6. She lied and said I was 8. There's a reason they don't send 6-year-olds. Because I would go on these big buses at night at camp to Jacob's Pillow and Tanglewood and these places where there were, music, and it was just dirt and, buses. And I was always scared. I was 6 years old. I was like, I'm going to get lost here. And it was just dark and dusty. And I remember being terrified all the time. And, that kind of trauma, right, starts to affect you. But I feel that one of the things we're looking at in the world here is that there is a complete intolerance and judgment of people that are trying to get by, that they're trying to, we're all just, can I tell you something? This is all an insane activity on the way to the grave. I mean, we're just, why not have fun? Why not? Like, and I said this to my client today. I was like, go sell that place. She's like, you know what? Putting it on the market this week. I'm done. I said, good, go. You know what? And she said to me that, because I had sold everything I owned in California and I moved here. And I said, I don't know that this is the last stop on the train. I might go somewhere else. I might find an interesting place. But what I'm trying to say is that the drug thing really worried me. And then I realized, I don't know if y'all noticed this. Now, I'm going to talk about Vicodin for a minute as a drug, right? Because whenever you hurt yourself, and or you've had some kind of injury, a lot of times that's the go-to pill. They'll give you Vicodin, So I'm not some saint. So I have, like, and this is a number of years ago now, I remember, I took Vicodin because I'd had some pain. I'd had surgery. And I remember I felt nothing. I wasn't high because it address the pain. Now, when the pain started to subside and I took a Vicodin, I got high. So that's how you know that when you have a drug that's working, and you have a condition, you don't get high. So I want to say this because I was very concerned. I was very worried about the idea of Adderall in general, and I'm not gonna pull any punches on that. I got to tell you, I was like, here I go. I have to be honest and tell you, this week, Tuesday, I have to tell you, I have been the most prolific, the most focused. I sit down and my website is almost done. The Chakra Wisdom Tarot website, which is gorgeous. And we've been working on it, and just things are getting done. And I'm not afraid to start new projects. I'm not afraid to start things and complete them. And I think it's kind of like that feeling of sitting there and going, okay, I'm just going to wait because it's too overwhelming. And now I just start. I just start anywhere, start like where I am. And I think the thing I want to say is that if you have a condition and you get a drug, it's like, somebody said this earlier, it's like you're walking like this, tilty all the time, and then all of a sudden you get the drug and you're walking right side up. And you know what happens? At least this happened to me. All of a sudden, I'm seeing things from such a different perspective. I'm able to perceive myself in a very different way. I'm able to perceive others in a different way. And I recognize now that being in the intuitive zoning in, like focusing all the time, like that focus of like, I'm doing a reading now and I'm going to focus on this person's energy. It's like intuitive listening. And when I'm doing that was the only state that was familiar to me, and that's why I was such a good reader. That's why I could be very intuitive, because being in the unknown is the constant state of ADD. It's in the unknown, but I used it to focus in on, readings. What was interesting today is doing some readings, and I was better because my brain was not only on it, but my intuition was working with it. And I think that's the thing, is that I'm suddenly recognizing how many years I suffered with ADD, and I can see it now in my family. I can see where I've come from, and I'm really coming out to all of you because, they can't really. There's really not a chemical. They can't really do blood tests. I mean, they can, and they do it to make sure you're regulated. But, they can't give you these drugs if you have heart or high blood pressure. I have low blood pressure. So, I was the poster child, apparently, for this drug. But the thing is that the night before I went to see the psychiatrist, I sat down and I found this online thing that was, do you have adult ADD? And I was like, yeah, because it's ADD, ADHD. They kind of separated them out, they kind of moved one out from the other. And to be honest with you, it's the same thing. It's just a different side. It's the same horse, a different color, okay? It's like, I've got a white whippet and I've got a gray whippet. Same whippet, It's just, you can call it different names, but at the end of the day, you can show signs of any one of those things. Even though I wouldn't consider myself ADHD, I can definitely see the hyper now. I can see where I come across very passionately, and that becomes hyper to people. And so I can see now things that I hadn't seen before. So, one of the things that, and I'm going to address that in a second, Cruz Boston, thank you. One of the things that I noticed is when I took the online test, that was a huge eye-opener to me. And years ago, my friend Dana Rayburn, who's like this adult ADD person, she and I were on a retreat together. That's where I met her. And we were having breakfast, and I said, maybe I have this thing. I said, everything you're saying, I'm relating to, being extremely forgetful, always losing my keys. I know some of you guys heard me say this before. I literally, my assistant, this is when I was in LA, they would hand me a piece of paper and I'd be talking and I'd lose the piece of paper. And she'd go, where's the paper? I'd go, I don't know. Did you give it to me? And it was like, Tori, I literally had it in my hand and it was gone. It was almost a running joke. And that's a big ADD thing. You lose everything. You forget things. You have to ask people 20 times. There was just so much going on. Okay. Got it. I just wanted to see what somebody said, and I'll come to that in a minute. But the idea is also that the biggest issue with ADD for me has been my memory, and I couldn't remember things. Like, and you know, the old joke of like you walk in a room and wonder why you're there. But I have to tell you, it was like getting bad. I would literally walk in the room and go, "Okay, this is not funny anymore." And anyway, the point is that that's not happening since I started taking the Adderall. Now, a lot of college kids, Cruz Boston made this point, use it as a drug. They use it to focus on tests. And somebody said to me, "Oh, I clean my whole house when I take one of those. I get so hyped up." And I'm like, really? Because I just get my writing done and I wish I cleaned my house. But I do get a lot done. But something I did notice, and this is really interesting, I've suffered for years from insomnia. And off and on, you know, I'll go to sleep, wake up at 2 in the morning, and I'm just like, what hit me? And then I can't get back to sleep. So it's kind of like that vicious cycle. So I was taking something else to put me to sleep. And so when I was sitting with the psychiatrist, I said, you know, and I talked to her later and I was like, wait a minute. You mean I've been doing this all wrong? I should be taking uppers, not downers, you know, like, and what I realized is when I take the Adderall in the morning, I'm completely normal all day. I can get writing done. I mean, even so much as I'm not all over the lot. I mean, I'm still all over the lot. That's my creative way. But what's happening is I'm getting things done. I'm able to focus long enough to get things done. And the other thing that's really interesting is that I'm able to care about other people in a different way. And I now see what they mean when they say ADD people have trouble with relationships, because there's just no way to focus on what someone's saying. And what'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say? Like, I'm sorry, oh, you told me that? Like, it's really uncanny how much I didn't remember. And so how much I'm remembering now. Yeah, Dana, I know. Can I tell you something? The insomnia for me. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say is that since I've been diagnosed, you know, I take the medicine in the morning, and it's literally, I take my medicine in the morning, and by about 10 o'clock at night, I'm like, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. And I am asleep by 11. I have had the best nights of sleep the last few nights that years and years and years. It's yeah. What did you just say? Shogun Love just said, I used to walk off right in the middle of a sentence with people. Yes. Yes. You know, this is something I want to say is that I really believe that this thing of ADD, it's no joke. Okay. It is no freaking joke, because you just think of like, I mean, honestly, I just thought, people who don't pay attention, they're scattered. And, you know, I had a judgment about it. And then suddenly when I was told that was me, I was like, no, oh, you know, like, wait, you mean I'm this? When you get 10 out of 10 on an ADD test, you got it. Okay. You got it. And so I was like, wow. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, scattered and flaky. And, you know, there's so many labels that get put on it. And the hyperactivity is the inability to sit still. It's like that. It's like something's racing inside of you. Now, here's the irony. So something's racing inside and you give a stimulant. Isn't that weird? But no, what actually happens is that I'm actually more focused. It's almost like, you know, you would think someone's antsy, they need a sedative. But what I noticed is that that's how I'd been treating things for years, with sedatives, with things that were, you know, depressants, instead of something that, you know, and I was laughing with the doc. I said, are you kidding me? Like, and so within 2 days, you know, I was just like, I couldn't believe, I've got to tell you, there's a sadness, and I'm not trying to look good here. You know, you can't save your ass and your face at the same time. And, there was sadness. There was like, wow, I've spent how many years like this? How many years that, and I've had that inkling. I remember sitting with Dana that day and saying, yeah, I probably haven't. And she said, yeah, I think you do, Tori. I'm like, no, not me, not me. And then I realized, I realized that there was a lot of time wasted, and there were a lot of people that I couldn't relate to, because I could only relate on an intuitive level. Now, I'm not sorry for any of that. I want to be very clear. I'm really glad at this point in my life that I'm getting to know what it's like to be able to have a night's sleep, wake up in the morning and be productive and get things done and focus. I've never had that. Like, it was 5 hours out of a 7 or 8 hour day where I would have to just, I was doing 100 other things that were unimportant, believe me, to get myself to write for 30 minutes. I mean, I've gotten so much done this week because it's like, I don't have to say, isn't that funny? Hold on. I want to say this. Stephanie C just said, my mom just started taking it too, diagnosed at 58. I just want to say this. This is so important, everyone. I want to just validate anybody who feels they want to get any kind of checkup. If you think life isn't going well, go see someone. And I'm getting truth bumps. As I say this to you, believe me, it is no joke. The difference. So, while all these college kids, because people are like, oh yeah, Adderall, here you go, Tori. My friends are like, okay. And the first day with my assistant, because I touch base with her in the morning because she's in another city. First and second day, I go, okay, so today I want to get done. So these 8 things have to be done. Are you able to do them? And she was like, who are you when you do a Tori? It was like all of a sudden, because it wasn't like, okay, so what are we getting done? It was like, okay, I need to get these done and this done. I'm going to write this. I'm going to turn it over to you, and then I'll get this done. But it was like my mind was back, everybody. That's the thing that got me. Having me again in the midst of all this, it was, it's been remarkable to recognize that, I take the Adderall, and I am not kidding everybody. I don't get high. There's no highness here. This is like, I'm starting to get my life back. Other Stephanie just said life-changing. Abso-freaking-lutely. I have to tell you, I'm so excited about things. And I had a great talk with my agent today, my literary agent. And I said to him, because I told him what was going on, I said, makes sense now, Chris, I've been suffering from this for so many years. Because see, here's my deal about how I am in my life. I don't try to hide me from the people who matter to me. Okay. Because at the end of the day, my agent, the people that work with me have to know me. They have to know me, because no matter what you say, I mean, he lives in London, but we have an intimate relationship. I mean, we've been working together 6 years. And so he needs to know what's going on. He went, wow, I'm really glad you got this, because he's not sitting here with me, so he doesn't know necessarily what's going on in me. And so when I said to him, these are the things I was suffering from, and this is what's going on, and I want to let you know because I feel like I'm focused. And I said, I'm canceling my trip to Europe in October because I want to stay home and write. I want to stay around Asheville. I'm going to be going to Florida for there's a Florida Writers Conference I want to go to, but and that's like in October, I think, for a couple days. But other than that, I said I'm staying home. I'm going to be working. I'm going to be getting my life back. And this is what I want to say to everybody. Just like, just give yourself that thing of like, I am going to reclaim my life. Reclaim it, everybody. Sometimes we feel like, the train is running, the conductor. You know what I mean? Like it's just running you. And I just have to say, it's amazing. And it's funny. Somebody just said Adderall basically has salt in it. It's certain kinds of salts. that mix with you. Now, here's something very interesting. My mother had a real problem in this area too, I think. I think my mother had some real mental illness, and I can see it now. I couldn't see it at the time. And of course, because she died of alcoholism. But what happens with things like ADD? We use drugs, we use alcohol, we use anything we can, workaholism, anything to avoid that fear. There's this overwhelming fear that runs your life. And I didn't recognize how much fear there was until I was like, wow, I'm not living in that fear. That was a really, really amazing, an amazing recognition. Okay. So why am I telling you this? Well, for a couple reasons. One, because I was reading some stuff on me, I'm like on different people's channels and stuff. And I was just reading, and I'm telling you right now, guys, I think I am going to cancel my Twitter feed. Twitter is so hateful that it's like, are you kidding me? I was just reading some of it and I thought, I was so aware of how much anger and hate and wow, anyway, I'm noticing these things. Okay, so let me see. Now it's very interesting. Bitter Twitters. Oh, I like that, Stefani. That's funny. I want to say Stefani. Let's see. Well, I think the thing, and I want to say this to you, April Teasy, I'm going to say this about meds and things like that. Okay, I think that there's a good and there's a challenge. The challenge is that it's a controlled substance, Adderall. It frightens me. I'm not going to lie. I don't like the idea of taking drugs that are potentially dangerous. But what's the safety in not living? Right? There's no safety in not living your life. There's no protection. I'd rather have a year less in my life, right? If we add up all the years, than have 100-year life of misery. That doesn't, sitting in my house and protecting myself isn't a way to live. It isn't. And I think that, here's the thing. We live in this challenging time, right? Where drugs are readily available, but also there's the challenge of everything going on. Okay. But here's the thing. If I hadn't had this diagnosis, and the main thing she put me on was Adderall, but there's one or two other things around it that, also because my thyroid, there's some other things that I'm taking. But if she hadn't put me on this, I wouldn't have the clarity I have right now to see my life in a way that validates what we're talking about, in a way that, going back to Jupiter, going back to this 12-year cycle. Where were you 12 years ago? Well, when I was talking to this client today, she was at a place where she was just starting out her journey. And now she's very successful and she doesn't want to live in LA anymore. I just feel like, okay, LA, they're my taillights, bye-bye. I'd feel that way about anywhere, okay? I'm not locked to any one particular, I think we can just thank you. Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Cruise Boston, you're like, dude, she's like an animal. She gets on these thank you, Dawn. I appreciate that. Brittany, my cutie, my I want to say my surrogate daughter. So good to see you. Saggies are movers. Oops. Christo, good to see you. I'm just jumping in here. Yeah. Okay. I love. Thank you, Black Rose. Okay. So here's what I want to say also about, I used to say all the time about children, they're not ADD when they're playing video games, but you know what? I don't know. I don't know. And good for you, for April, for taking that step of like, I'm gonna monitor what's going on with my child, and I'm gonna be open to what comes from this. And I think the thing we all have to look at is that we really, all of us, we really don't have, and I love this because I want to say I don't have your solution, but I know you do. You know, and what was nice for me today, I really feel like, and tomorrow I'm doing some of my intuitive astrology, which I love, because that's why I pulled out these planets, because I'm going to talk about them in a moment. When we look at the 6 outer planets right now being in retrograde, one of the things, I'm going to give you some general ideas, but what's really great for me doing the tarot and the intuitive work is that when I look at how these outer planets will match up with your chart and what you're experiencing and going through, that's the key to all of this, you know? So here's, glasses are going on. Okay, so first of all, you'll have to see, I'm I know I'm in my Saturn return too, Dawn, don't remind me. I just want to show you all, these aren't they cute? They're the watermelon. I was just like, oh my gosh, summer can't be over because it's all back to school now. I was like, I'm putting watermelon on for the last week. And then the Halloween stuff is already up. I love it. Isn't that cute? I know, isn't it cute? Happy camper. By the way, I did start a little Facebook page. It's private. So it's called Such Cute Nails VIP. So it's really just for people who are kind of interested in the nail stuff, and I'll be doing some live feeds and some interactive there. Right now there's only like 2 or 3 of us, so it's a very small group. So if you have questions about this stuff, or you know, that kind of girly stuff, come on over there and I'll again, it's called Such Cute Nails VIP, and you have to ask to join. I know, aren't these adorable? I tell you, Dawn, hold on, there you go. It's easier to see if you look at it that way. And then this is and by the way, this is, I did a video, but I messed it up. This is from Sunday. So what are we, 5-6 days in? These things are amazing. Yeah, add VIP, that's the name. I know, isn't the watermelon fun, Brittany? Oh my gosh. I know, you know what, Nita? I don't wear pink either. I'm just playing with it because it's watermelon. Okay, all right. It's interesting. Stephanie just said, I can now notice when I need my second dose without looking at the time because of my scattered thoughts. So what I want to say, I know, Dawn, aren't these the best ever? Dawn, like, I'm telling you, you know what? I've never been this excited about anything. And I'm not kidding you guys, because I sold Avon when I was 19, okay? And one of the things that I loved about that is I loved the products. So, oh my gosh, you would love, Chris, you would love the blue nails. The ones, go to the site. It's, what's it called again? Black Rose. Oh, there it is. colorstreet.com/such cute nails. That's the, Black Rose just put it up on the feed. And it is, I am telling you, look at the different fall colors too. They're crazy. So if you go, did you get your nails, Kathy? You got them. That's so funny. You got your nails. We're calling them nails because what they are, everybody, is they are nail strips. They're organic, non-toxic, and they are gluten-free, believe it or not, made in the USA. And they're so easy to put on. Even I can do it. Okay, so I've got this like crazy light. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you're gonna love, Chris, you got to check it out. You're gonna love this stuff. Isn't it gorgeous? I know. Nail paint. Yeah, it's pretty true. All right. I love those. I'm a sucker for those. I'm telling you, they're so great. And anyway, so it's really nice because I'm getting to know some of you off here because one of the gals on my Patreon is selling. So we were like talking about it. It's kind of fun. All right. It's because she signed up. She just signed up. All right. So let me talk about the planets. And you guys, I think I'm going to try to, I hope that's a little better. Is it, because it was right in my, is that okay? Can you still see me? Happy camper, you're killing me. Brittany, great minds think alike. I know, I'm obsessed with my nails, aren't I? I know. You know what it is too? When being through all this depression for so long, having something that makes me happy like this, that's simple, and I can like talk to my girlfriends, and I'm making new friends. You know, people are selling, you know, I had one person sign up under me, but you know, it's fun, and it's such a fun community of girls. I'm enjoying all the different ages and stuff. So I like Claire signed up. Yay, Claire. I know. I messaged you, by the way. I sent you a message. So get back to me, and I will. I'll get up with you, and we can totally. Yeah, we could totally jam about some of the stuff. I'll give you some ideas on what I'm doing and stuff like that. And yay! I loved you. I know, Dawn. You did. Oh, good. Sign up. Oh, yeah. It's so fun. I have to tell you. You know. One of the things I want to say is that you can tell it just makes me happy because it's kind of like, in a funny way, it's a no-brainer. I went to the post office and this woman was like, oh my gosh, your nails are fantastic. I go, yeah, I sell these. I gave her a little sample. She put an order in. I mean, people, when they get it, and I saw her today because I had to go over there, she went, this stuff is fantastic. I said, I know, don't tell anybody. All right, let's talk about the planets. Okay, and I will be doing a live on the Facebook page, probably soon, but I've only got a couple people on it so far. But if you go to the site and you sign up, come on over to my VIP. You can join even if you don't sign up, so don't worry about that. All right, meaning joining my VIP room. Let's see. Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about here, I had taken some notes. This is where it was very important. Jupiter goes retrograde goes full cycle. It takes 12 years. So basically, if you look at it that way, Jupiter will spend about a year in every sign. Now, Jupiter has done its retrograde in Sagittarius, which in a sense is, oh, sorry, hit the wrong thing. In Sagittarius, can't get this light. I feel like, okay, my angels are calling me or something. It's, okay, which in Sagittarius is in its exaltation. Now, it's really important that you kind of get that even though there have been a lot of challenges going on this summer, the discoveries that have been happening, I got to turn this down a little, okay, better. The discoveries that have been happening, it all starts to make sense because what we're looking is we're going back over things and healing, right? Healing, dealing with it so we can heal it, deal and heal, right? That's a heal and deal, whatever you want to say. Okay. So, oh, Chris, you're so funny. Orbs. Yeah, I'm a big orb person. Adam B., good to see you. Thanks for joining us. All right. So let's talk about, okay. So the thing that you want to get is that from Sagittarius, Jupiter went back into Scorpio. Now in English, what that means is that it picked up some old things that we may have wanted to hide. Remember, Scorpio is the sign of secrets, right? And Scorpios are very good at holding things in and figuring things out. Well, it went from the buoyant Sag, right? The very open Sag, to it went back into Scorpio where things stayed hidden. Now, what do you think was going on in 2016, maybe later in the year, where Jupiter went from Scorpio into Sag? Everything came out. And, I said to somebody recently, I said, has this really been a bad time? Haven't we suddenly found out, how many things in this world we need to deal with and fix? And this has been a time of going back and fixing problems, okay? So now, Chris, what has happened, she's a Scorpio. One of the things that's happened, for example, for you is since Jupiter went back into Scorpio, it hit you hard in the sense that, wow, I need to take more chances. I need to be doing more. And now it's starting to go forward, okay? So it may have shook you up for about a week or so there. Around August 11th, it started to go direct. I don't even know how many glasses I have here, you guys. It's crazy. Okay, so let's take a look here. Now, that's the, yes, darkness exposed. Thank you, April. I'm glad you said that. This is the thing that's beginning to happen. So now, as I said that to you, Chris, this is kind of like, because you're Scorpio, what you want to look at here also is how is that planet affecting you? Right? And that's where I was talking about the idea of intuitive astrology. And that's why I love, because I use my, the Chakra Wisdom Tarot and your chart, and I look at where the planets are. And I love doing that because when I see, and I'm just using your sun sign here, but if we're looking at it that way, I can say that this would have been a big shakeup for you, Chris. It would have come back over you, it would have hit you twice, and it would have said, get the message. Like, okay, I heard you. Years ago, my friend April and April was older. She was like in her 40s, and I was like 16, 17. She was friends with my dad, and I was walking to her house after school one day. It was in Brooklyn. My dad was going to come over for dinner later. We're all going to go home. But April and I were walking, and her son's like 5 feet, maybe not even, 3 feet in front of us. And she hauls off and hits him in the back of the head. He says, Mama, what do you hit me for? She says, just for what you're thinking. Get that out of your head. So it was kind of like one of those, things. Okay. 2016 was one of the worst years of my life. Yep. That's what's happening, everybody. Now, let's get ready. We're in 6. It's funny. Somebody said, I put up a meme a couple of years ago, and I said, one planet retrograde, okay, it's bad. Two planets retrograde, it's like, wow, that's like gnarly. 3 or more, don't leave the house. It's like, don't go out there is my thing. But let's take, I know Christopher's like, what the? Okay, all right. So let's talk about, all right. Saturn is also right now, it's in retrograde, but actually it's an interesting complement to Jupiter. Even though Saturn Saturn moves in 30-year cycles. So it will be a complement to Jupiter, and then it'll go away from it. So there are those of us, if you were born in certain years, you have a specifically Jupiter conjuncts Saturn. And what that means is that sometimes discipline, you get lucky when you're disciplined about something. So when you're focusing or working on it, luck comes from that. And okay, so let's see. All right. Okay. Now, Saturn is considered a very serious planet. So when it's in a retrograde, like it is now, it's going to be in retrograde through September 18th. Now, a couple of notes I made here is that because Saturn is the planet of authority figures, check this out, it really becomes the time to review, renew, key commitments, really. It can bring us down because it makes us look at the bigger picture. Sometimes we can go, and you know how this is, guys, you can go day to day and just keep doing your routine, and you're not looking at, what I want to say, you're not looking at like the bigger picture, but suddenly you sit there and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing the big picture. Now, what's very interesting is Saturn is retrograding in its natal sign of Capricorn. So Capricorns are workers anyway. They're young when they're old and old when they're young. So it's kind of like they've got it backwards. They reverse age, okay? And one of the things, exactly, Chris, Jupiter is exalted in Sagittarius, right? So one of the things that is important about that is Saturn, if you can call it an exaltation, is exalted in Capricorn, which means the best of those planets come out. But you know what's funny? Remember the Sag, big mouth Sag will say, oh, that you don't look good in that or whatever. That's not a great way to say it, but Sag is honest. Capricorn will say, oh, if you're not working for it, I'm going to fire you. I can't tell you how many people get fired around that time, like if they have Capricorn. Okay, it's kind of like, I know that's what you meant, Chris. Capricorns take on a lot of responsibility when they're younger, and these are the kinds of things that go on. All right, so let's look at, and let me think. Here we go. This is what I want to say. Okay, this is also a time that we have to look at how we live our lives. This is very important. Long-term projects, goals that you had, things that you thought were so important. And it's interesting because I'm talking about, the readings I've been doing as well. One thing that really came up in a reading is that this was specific for this person, but one of the things I said to her is, you've completed the project and you're acting like you're still doing it. And she was like, what do you mean? I said, well, you had a goal, right? She had a goal of getting a certain thing. Well, what she did was she got what she wanted, But when she got there, she discovered she didn't want it anymore. And she's like, but yeah, but that doesn't mean, I said, no, that means you got it, but you got the answer that you don't want it. And see, what happens sometimes is when we achieve something and we go, well, this is what I wanted. We think we need to sit in our crap, right? We need to go, well, it's what I wanted. No, I said to her, let's come up with a new goal. She was like, what? I said, yeah, that goal is over. You achieved, you got that job, you discovered you don't want it, and now we can recreate something that's better for you. And she was like, oh. So when I say this to you, it's really important that you really look at, am I doing something that's actually complete, and I act like I'm still there. Now I'm going to give you another example, weight loss, right? I love when people call me and they go, okay, so my goal is to lose 30 pounds. I said, how are you doing? Well, I lost 30 pounds. I go, and you started putting it back on, right? And they went, yeah, how'd you know? I go, because you see, when you have a goal to lose 30 pounds, you've lost the 30 pounds. Now what? The next thing has to be, how do you maintain it or something else? But no, that's not the way your brain works. Your brain says, I just lost the weight. I achieved my goal of 30 pounds, right? And now you start eating to get back to the 30, so that you could say, I want to lose 30 pounds. So your goal is constantly moving. You're always achieving, or in the process of achieving, a goal that you may need to move on from, or you'll stay in purgatory. So that becomes an important thing as well. So these are the kinds of things you want to look at, when you set an intention, or you say, oh, I want to create X. Okay, fine. But if you get to X, or even if you get halfway and go, I don't want this, declare it complete. I can't tell you how much I do that in the classes that I teach. Like when I'm teaching, and I'm going to be doing a couple classes coming up. Where did I put the book? It's around here somewhere. I don't have it with me. Okay. It's my new chakra book that comes out in November, and I'm going to be working through, I'm going to be doing a class on that. That'll be really fun, because it's really going to be about physical awareness of like what I need to change in the moment, how to know that kind of thing. So, all right. Yeah, Nita, we are friendly. Thank you. Nita Wall, I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. And let's see. Okay, the thing you want to get about Saturn, especially in retrograde, is it makes you look at what you really want to achieve in the future. And if you don't really look at that, you're going to be in the cycle of continuing. And that's where boredom happens, and that's where depression happens. Wow, what's going on with all is chicks? Okay. How about this, Dawn? Instead of I'm going to get rid of the extra weight, one of the things I did that helped me, and just as an idea, is I turned around and said, okay, I need to be healthy. And for me, at this time, healthy means hitting 150 pounds. Like, that's healthy for me. And that's where that's kind of where I want to live. That way, I'm not losing anything. I'm moving towards something. Because when you're moving toward a goal, it's an affirmative action, so to speak. When you're moving away from something, I want to lose, right? What happens when we lose stuff? Well, I lost this. We have to find it. I always joke when people say, I lost 20 pounds. I go, don't worry, I found it. Because it's right here, So I just say that the way we word what we're choosing in the universe makes such a difference, right? So it is about choosing health. And that's, yes, see, thank you. I think it says so IA. Saturn is the BS cutter. Hello. Goal, lose weight ASAP. Well, be careful. Now, hold on. That's a good point. You may be only two, what is it? I'm only one stomach flu away from my ideal weight, right? I mean, you have to be careful, because that could also come from sickness. So we want to make sure that the intention is health, right? It's like the health becomes very important. Let's see. How about I'm going to nurture my body? Well, that sounds kind of like little bit too self-care for me, you animal. Like, I don't know, like, that sounds a little too healthy. I think it's just, I want to be at this weight because I know it's going to be a healthy weight for me. Boom. Thank you, Brittany. I just tell you, it's like, it's all in the lighting. Okay, but thank you. Let's see. I wanted to talk about, wow. All right. And we're also in Uranus retrograde. I'm going to move through these a little quicker. This is very important because what is Uranus? It's sudden change. It's sudden movement. It's like, people who have that right on their rising sign, like on their ascendant. I have never seen someone with Uranus on the ascendant or in their first house who doesn't make quick choices, and maybe I know them really well. But the thing that you want to get, it's, and I'm reading my notes. It's okay. When are the dates? Oh, here are the dates. Okay. August 12th. So it just went in to January 1st. Sorry to give you this news, but it's, and I wrote here, your inner ability to be free is tested. So what does that say, right? So I had this session today with a client who's like, well, I'm planning on moving in March. I go, well, what are you going to do between now and then? She said, well, I'm just going to stay here. I go, why? What are you staying for? A turkey dinner with friends? Well, what are you staying for? Like Christmas with people that you know but don't really talk to? She's like, oh, this is the thing about being psychic, right? She's like, oh yeah, you're right. I go, you said you want this new adventure. And it's like, by the end, she was like, yeah, I'm pumped, because that's what she wants. Sometimes, and you know what? We can accomplish this with friends too, when friends are very open. It's like something is that, that's the real deal, is to be able to say that to somebody and just say, hey, what are you waiting for? I think that one of the things that happens with illness is we get into a pattern of waiting to die or waiting for someone else to make a decision that will change our life. And, it's an endless loop, right? So Uranus is really about, it's when it goes retrograde, it's saying, are you going to let this bottle up or are you going to be free? What's your choice? It's like, yeah, can I go? I'm going now, right? It's like, we're doing this. So what I'm saying to all of you, and it's funny, this is like full disclosure night. I don't know what's going on, but, I think the other thing I want to say is like, I'm in my 50s. And so for me, one of the things that came forward to me very clearly is like, maybe I want to live in like an over 50, like place where there's a lot of people that are not just married and retiring, but people who are active, right? So one of the things, one of the things you want to get is like, I'm going, oh, that's a possibility. Now, I haven't done it. It's just an idea. And the difference now between the old, ADD and now being in this focus, it's like, that's a great idea. I'm going to think about it and I'm going to put it on a list to kind of mull over and see if it works for me. So the question that Uranus is going to be giving you between now and the end of the year, and this is the question we all must answer, is how willing are you to be free? How willing are you to be free? And freedom can be, you know what? Freedom for me means I can be active and living my life and be that weight of about 150 that'll be really healthy for me. That's freedom. So what we do is we redefine the idea of weight loss as, for me, as not so much weight loss as, I need to redefine this as freedom. And honestly, it's true, because when I was carrying so much weight, it was hard for me to get out and walk around. Well, I still don't go out much, but I'm getting better. Honestly, I'm getting better. I'm improving. So that's a very important, peaceful warrior. Great comment. Yes, I think I'm scared to be free. Okay, then that's perfect. 167. If it's right for you, stay at it. Boom. Hi, Kim. Good to see you. Let's see. Cruz Boston is like, she's just the best bomb diggity. And so are you, Black Rose. Thank you Thank you for the love. And I do want to send a special shout out tonight. And I always forget, but I want to thank all the people and families who make the sacrifices every day to be of service to us. And we can never pay or thank you enough to be in our armed forces, our police department, our fire departments, people that run into the burning buildings and into the bullets to save us. And I want to tell you how profoundly thankful I am, not just to those who do it, but the families who sacrifice so that we can live with freedom. And so I want to just say that to all of you, and how grateful I am, and especially to the families of people, the wife and children and husbands and children who watch their spouses go off to foreign lands to make sure we're living in a safe place. And I just think it's very important that I share that gratitude with all of you, because it's really been coming up for me lately a lot. And I just want to say that. So one of the things, the last two we're looking at is Neptune. Okay. Neptune retrograde, it's not that big a deal, because, the reality is that Neptune takes about 14 years in each zodiac sign. So think about this. In your lifetime, it's not going to make it all around your chart, unless there's something I don't know about you, but it's probably not. So Neptune really represents generations. It represents, for example, when we look at generations of, and we say baby boomers or the millennials, a lot of times we can look at those groups based on where Neptune is at the time. And we can see if they are, if they're not paying attention. And it's very interesting. I have to tell you, Neptune has been in Pisces, and Pisces is a little bit impractical. No offense to any Pisces, but if you know and love a Pisces, you know that they're, I find they're usually the alcoholics. Those are the people I used to meet all the time that were getting sober, but they're very creative, but they're not practical. You will rarely see an accountant who's a Pisces. Okay. So you'll find people who have emotional ideals, and they can't ground them. So Pisces and Neptune is an entire generation of people that are born into this. So before it, we had Aquarius, right? The age of Aquarius. We have people who are like, oh yeah, let's rethink this. Let's do it differently. So we look at each generation. Pluto becomes important because the last time, the last time Pluto was, is it Pluto? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was, I'm trying to remember which planet. Somebody's going to know which planet it was when the Berlin Wall fell. I think it might have been Pluto, but I can't remember right now. Oh, Pluto was in Scorpio. That's what it is. Yeah, okay. Or maybe it was in Sag. I can't remember. All right. Now, here's the thing I want to say. This is the planet. It is right now. It has been in retrograde since April 24th. It will be in retrograde through October 3rd. And it's very seventh chakra, so it's universal, right? So what I want to say about this is that it can be a very scary time to be in this particular retrograde, because it actually it sheds light on the shadow side of our lives. So we tend to want to hide, but what happens is that it reveals things against our will. It makes things, it makes us really take on reality checks, okay? And really, Pluto will knock the crap out of you a little bit, but it forces the truth at you. And, one of the things that we saw is, I want to say it was around 2014 or 15 when, maybe it was 2000, yeah, it was 15 or 16, but Pluto went from, if I'm not mistaken, bear with me, did it go from Sag to Capricorn? I think that's where it went. I'm getting it confused. But anyway, you can look at history with some of these outer planets and see whole generations. Let me see. I finally have found someone who really gets me and cares about me. Oh, yay, Stephanie. Good to hear that. Yeah, exactly. And I want to say that this is the thing. You know, if you're going through some of this feeling like things are shedding or what have you, one of the things I want to say to all of you is this is a time for you to face that and go see somebody. You know, really, you know, one of the great things is that there are places we can go no matter what. So, oh, I want to give you all. I'm trying to think. I put the thing. Hey, if you think about it, everybody, would you give a thumbs up to this video while we're wrapping? And I am going to, yeah, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Just give it a like or come back later. I just want to review really quickly, see if anybody, yeah, it does get easier. Yeah, don't give up. I don't know who's giving up. Don't you dare give up. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Stephanie just said, I had 3 different healthcare professionals in 1 year, and I felt like I'd been abandoned, having to start all over again. You know, the thing that happens, though, is that, you know, I just really believe that spirit just removes what's not going to work for you. It's just, bye, you know, and it's just that kind of take it away, you know. So I am just like I said, I'm just so excited about my nail thing. I'm having so much fun. And oh, she's not here tonight, Nikki. She's not here, but she ordered some stuff. So I'll show you what she ordered. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up in a second. These are, which one is this? This is her order. Well, and by the way, everybody, every once in a while, if you're on the VIP in Facebook, what I'll start doing is I'll put in bulk orders and then I'll send it to you when, you know, that way you don't have to pay the shipping. Let's see, this is Venetian velvet. Look at that. This is a solid color, but look how pretty it is. It's really pretty red. This one is, I think you guys have seen it. I know Dawn got this one. It's Interstellar. Hard to see, but you can kind of see, yeah, see the little detail in there. You can also see the reflection of my computer. What else? Oh, she got this one. I love this one. Mind over splatter. Isn't that cool? Now, one of the things, I know the new fall collection, don't even start with me. Yeah, exactly. You know what? She's in, I'm sending this to Nikki, who's she's in Australia. I'm not sure where, but if you email me at suchcutenails@yahoo.com, we'll figure it out, because I'm mailing these to her in Australia because they don't send to other countries. So I'm ending up mailing it. And she loved this. She loved the glow in the dark. And by the way, these are so fun. And so so what I did was she just put in a bigger order, and I'm just going to mail it all to her. And we'll take that over to the post office so that, you know, take it out there. Let's see. Do you think the meds will affect psychic ability? Absolutely. I'm more sharp. You know, I thank you for saying that. Willow the Doberman. Oh my gosh, do you have a Doberman? I love Dobermans. Salmon. Yes. You know, they're so fun. You know, some of the glow in the dark, there's a couple of them for Halloween that are really fun. They just put out the Halloween collection. And can I tell you something? I'm such a geek for that stuff. I think maybe I'll do this on the Facebook page. I'm going to do a video like next week on the VIP, the Facebook VIP. It's called Such Cute Nails VIP. And you'll find me. Just ask to join that and I'll let you in. I'm going to do a video and I'm going to show all of the polish I bought last year. Oh my gosh. Like, can I tell you how many dozens and dozens and dozens of nail polish? The problem with nail polish, everybody, and those who are addicted to it now, like me, is that you use it once or twice and then you go, you know. This is fun because it's like, you know. Yes, Stephanie, thank you for saying that. I'm a much better listener on my meds. I think that I could always listen intuitively, and I just think I'm more sharp. You know, I think what the meds have done is they've made a better me. You know, they've made me a normal person, which is really kind of scary because it's like, the old joke of adult children of normal families, and there's like that big banner, and there's one person in the audience, and it's like, but they've made me function in the world a little bit better. So, that's the thing about these, and I'll just show you again. The thing I really dig about these nails is you could see these are different patterns, right? So I just put them on, and they're different on the other hand. I just decided, I wanted the watermelon because I was like, it's like I said, I didn't want summer to be over so quick, and now it's over. So yeah. Oh, you're that sister of four. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the big thing. Ooh, Claire. Yeah, put on your nails and post that. Would you post that in the Facebook page, our Facebook page, because I'll go over and look. So please come join me at the Such Cute Nails VIP room. I'm going to be over there. I'll probably do a video over there more on the nails. I mean, I'm talking about them here, but I kind of want to, I don't want to take up too much of your time with that. But I wanted to give you a little bit of insight as to what's happening with Jupiter and the other planets. That it's perfectly normal that your world feels like you've been turned upside down and somebody's shaking you. That's completely normal stuff. And I'm actually really, I can't tell you enough how grateful I am that I came out to all of you and told you I was, suffering from depression. And the psychiatrist is really interesting. She was in the office, and I said, "Don't you? Where's the pipe and the chaise lounge?" And she said people have such a stigma about psychiatrists that we are more and more coming into medical practices so that people don't feel, that kind of thing. Yes, Dawn, you can email, if you email suchcutenails@yahoo.com. Again, it's just suchcutenails@yahoo.com. I can, especially about the nail stuff. One of the things that's happening is that people email my support desk, and they're asking all sorts of questions that need more respect than just a yes or no answer. And I just simply don't have the time to give out all that advice and suggestions and thoughts and vibes and everything else, because the truth is that it's just, I'm limited, and I get a lot of those kinds of requests where people they don't realize that, it's like it's a business, unfortunately. But I love doing this, so I don't really care. So, I love you guys. It's been really fun. Please like and subscribe, and please share. Let people know. I think that the more people know about our little community, the better it is for everybody. So, of course, Humanimal, you're the best. And I'm really grateful for all of you. And it's nice to see the same names. I know who you are. And, it's just really lovely. Oh, okay. Yeah. Dawn, I think that they posted my PayPal also. My PayPal is paypal@torihartman.com. So there you go. All right, loves, I am fading, but please give a special round of shout outs to Cruise Boston and Black Rose 11. And thank you so much for being of service to all of us, because without you, we wouldn't be able to have this type of honest community. And that's key. So, well, I think Dawn, then contact my support at torihartman.com, and she'll help you. She'll help you out with that, but we'll talk. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And I am sending you lots of love. All right. Have a great Thursday. Bye for now.